Call this meeting of the South Rep Board of Education together at 6:31. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Dana Winston.
Present.
Anthony Johnson.
Present.
Lori Hicks.
Present.
Cheryl Fletcher.
Present.
Misha Early.
Present.
Amanda Fletcher present. Shirley Tolliver.
Present. Next item on the agenda is Superintendent Communications. Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, certainly following the Innovation Center ribbon cutting and naming ceremony in honor of Brian Galvis, special thank you in recognition to Chef Tony and Chef Leo and all of our students for the incredible spread that they provided for approximately 100 guests just prior to the board meeting here this evening. Tonight would not have been possible without their efforts, as well as the Thurston High School Women's Chorus, who was still in the midst of their performance as several of us were transitioning over to tonight's board meeting. They sound absolutely amazing, and certainly if that doesn't assist in getting people's minds into the holiday spirit, after hearing our girls choir at Thurston High School, hopefully you're experiencing some holiday cheer. So we certainly want to recognize their efforts tonight, as well as the board's participation in being there for tonight's commemoration. Also would like to recognize Vandenberg teacher Echo Miller, who was recognized as being Vandenberg's Staff Member of the Month for November. He has been a tremendous addition to the Vandenberg Elementary team, and his deep care for our students and staff is constantly positive and supportive and constructive, and just a very thoughtful approach. So we'd like to recognize Mr. Echo Miller, who is a newer member to the South Redford Eagle team. Also, happy holidays to the entire Board of Education. And sticking with our theme from several years now, you'll notice that there's a number of gifts in front of each of you this evening. So happy holidays to each and every single one of you, and for the oftentimes thankless work that all 7 of you do day in and day out for the district and out and about in the community. And so to commemorate the holidays, as well as in advance of board appreciations, that you can enjoy your gifts all year long. And a little bit earlier than normal, you'll notice that you have a laptop bag featured with the district logo, as well as some pieces surrounding the board's recent adoption of our strategic plan. You'll also notice that you'll have a laminated copy. You should have one in front of you or in your laptop bag that has the recent strategic plan with the mission, the vision, and goals. And then perhaps my personal favorite is you'll notice your medallion that you have behind your nameplate. These are for you to leave here. However, you also have one inside of your laptop bag to remind us all that we are all Eagles and together we soar. And then you'll notice on the back our pyramid of success that the board has heard so much about in each of our data presentations, but also in several other formats when we think about providing a safe, welcoming environment, the importance of relationships so that students can reach their peak performance. And then you'll also notice some of the words that are there from our strategic plan with our mission, vision, and goals about educating, encouraging, and engaging every student every day. And so really kind of leaning into our most recent board workshop that we had just a week ago with Scott from the Michigan Association of School Boards, and reminding and connecting each and every single one of us that are here to the work that we do and as it pertains to our strategic plan. So on behalf of myself as well as the entire cabinet and Mr. Chris Jones, happy holidays and happy Board Appreciation Month And so may tonight's gift and gifts serve as a reminder for the incredible work, and like I said, oftentimes thankless efforts that others don't necessarily see for the betterment of our students. So thank you, happy holidays, and happy board appreciation. And with that, Madam President, that concludes my remarks this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bab. Oh, I did. Next item on the agenda is the approval agenda. Do we have any? Okay, I sure did miss that. Next item on the agenda is the board communications. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Anthony Johnson for completing all 9 of his classes.
A victory lap.
I want it on
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. I do believe that makes us a honor board because all 7 of us have completed our certification.
All right.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also like to remind the board that our chorus, the young ladies will be performing on next Tuesday, December the 17th.
Mhm.
What? 7?
At 7 o'clock.
7 p.m., okay.
In the Dr. Weber Auditorium.
Yes,
Yes.
What date was that?
17th, next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Do I have any other board communications? Alrighty. Next item on the agenda is comments from the audience, topics related to the agenda. Are there any?
We have none.
There are none. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Do I have a board member willing to adopt the consent?
For the chair,
Yes,
I'd like to move the adoption of the following resolution, please.
do I have a support?
Support.
It's been moved by Mrs. Fletcher and supported by Mrs. Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Okay. Next item on the agenda is report SREA, SROPA, and SRF. Well, I believe, Ms. Woods, that would be you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
To some of you who don't know, I'm Kathy Woods, President of South Breakfast Foundation. I first would like to congratulate each and every last board member on your
Level 1 certification.
not certification. Why I can't talk? I'm
The
sorry.
innovation
You're
center.
good.
I'm just on the highway
You're good.
driver's
Oh,
license.
the
Chicago. Her election. Thank you for that, Madam President. Thank you.
That was Misha.
Oh, I can't see either, right? Okay, so maybe I probably should sit down. I should sit down tonight. But considering I missed the last meeting, I'm gonna stand here, we're gonna do this. So again, I'm gonna get that. So, hi, I'd like to congratulate everyone on, I can't even say it again. It's election. And I look forward to greatness for this year, working with each and every one of you on this board commission to soar like we should. I would like to report to you also as before, I was working on the license for the poker, for the poker game. So now I brought to you, we are licensed.
All right.
We do have a date.
All right.
We have for date January the 7th through January the 10th. So, and it will be in Ward Lake, if anyone is interested. We will be putting together flyers for that and invitations as well. I will bring back to distribute for anyone who would like to attend that as well. We're also in the midst of working on golfing, bringing that church back as well.
Great.
That is our next goal. A personal goal of ours as a committee, we're also trying to enhance the foundation by creating new committees. So if you know of anyone that's interested in joining the foundation's committee, please let us know. We're trying to build 2 committees so that we can have help throughout the community. Because what we would like to do is to take the foundation to levels that no one has ever been in their district. That's our mission.
All right.
And we need a little bit more help to make that possible. But if not, I'll just work overtime.
Very good, very good.
Okay, that will conclude my report for today. But next time, I'm sure we'll come back with more. Any questions for me at this time?
To the chair.
Yes.
One question, if you're recruiting people for your committees, what age range are you looking for?
So, well, we're looking probably for that committee, it could be maybe retirees to come back, someone that can commit like full-time to the committee. Because at this point, it's gonna be a lot of footwork to put everything back in perspective, being given that it's been down for so long. So we're trying to build, and as we're building, we're learning along the way. So forgive me if I make some mistakes along the way. I'm putting that out there in the air in advance. I don't intend to, but I am human. So, any more questions? Also, one more thing, I'm sorry. I also would like to thank each and every one that came out to the foundation relaunch event. That was very, very nice. I thank you for taking out your time and joining us in that event. And as a result of that event, we did receive 4 donations. We did, 4 separate donations and 5 people that's joining the foundation as well. So we're looking forward to getting out in the community. I'm connecting with community.
That's all right. Good.
And that will conclude the Southbrook Foundation report for today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report from district benchmark data. Mr. Bond.
Yes, give me just one moment. You got a report?
No, I have a
Okay, just check. Thank you. And so with that, Madam President, I would like to turn it over to our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, Ms. Amy Davidson.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Happy December.
Happy December.
And in the spirit of December, and as we're getting ready to, not quite, but on the first semester, believe it or not, of the 24-25 school year, we certainly don't have that mid-year information yet, but we wanted to give you a fall picture of where we are in achievement. And in just a moment, I'm going to turn it over to the real data expert behind me. But I just wanted to lay some foundation here for you based on the connection to our current strategic plan and what sort of whole comprehensive picture we wanted to give you tonight. So it isn't just specifically one piece of data. So first, we'll come back to the strategic plan because it is new. I know it's new to all of us. This visual isn't, so I think that's helpful to me as we transition. But I know all of you are so deeply involved as you were in the process.
Bless you.
And bless you. And just want to remind us that our, I love the coin, I call it a coin, it's a medal, right? But that medal is there to remind us about having Eagles be educated, empowered, equipped, And these are the things we believe in getting us there. I'm not going to read them to you, but you may recall coming up with those belief statements that then drove our plan. These 4 focus areas already have been driving so much of the work that we're already doing, and your work certainly as you empower us to do that as a board. And tonight, as we talk about how students are achieving and the steps that are taken to continue to grow that achievement, we'll connect them to these focus areas. Specifically, focus area 1 of academics and programs, and the fact that each student should have rigorous academic opportunities. You may remember us talking about accelerating students. That didn't mean just ESP students or putting students in an accelerated program, that everyone needs an opportunity to have access to grade level things and work and standards, and then being supported for whatever else they need above and beyond that, whether it's above or support to skills to get there. And so that each student's individual needs are honored. And you're going to hear a little bit about that tonight as the achievement pertains to that data. And then the second focus area of our learning environment and culture. This is where relationships tie in very critically. If you may have heard, can't reach them, can't teach them, right? We need to be able to know and understand how to engage that word from our mission students so that we are able to get them to their learning. And then also a bit about specifically focus area 4, the work that teacher leaders are doing, whether it be departments or grade levels, electives, and others with their standards, with their development and their growth in teaching students in both of those first focus areas, that will help build and grow leaders. I call that one lifting our leaders, and we're really working very hard in that area as well. So, you may recall a lovely lady named MRB, who is now enjoying the sunshine of California. Mostly. I guess they almost had a tsunami. But anyway, she's good. I want to remind you, depending on the length of time you've been on the board, that as part of the curriculum office and the data team, it's very important that we understand, the instructors and the staff, the board, the teachers in the classroom, and even the students to a degree, what it means to be literate in assessment, what it means to show what you know. It isn't just about one test. It's many opportunities to show the areas in which you can grow. So specifically here, what's outlined for you, and will be on the next slide as well, is that assessment, if we're doing it right, gives us tools to know what to do next to support students. And teachers and any support staff need the skill to be able to do that for students in order for us to get the growth and proficiency success. MTSS, which you'll hear a lot about, is actually that system is one of our district improvement goals. Not a focus area of the strategic plan, but in our actual goal work, that system continues to be part of one of our goals. And it's designed to ensure that all of the learners get the opportunities they need to. From, if I think about the triangle on the metal, so that everyone has that base of tier 1, and then again, the other supports are also in place. And that takes work, and it takes assessment and looking at assessment and a continuous improvement cycle to get us there. So that's what data-based decision making is about. But you may recall that being literate in assessment means a lot of things. So you're going to see some familiar things here. So a multi-tiered system of supports, or MTSS. According to the state of Michigan, who's done a lot of work in this area, or the MIMTSS, that consists of these 5 components. So decisions need to be made by a team. That might look like a data meeting in a building, right, in a conference room, looking at how students are performing and how to move forward. It might be a meeting with a parent and a student to decide what's best, or just within the classroom. And then what you're going to hear more about tonight is that second point, which is the comprehensive screening and assessment system. So there's things we do at the beginning of the year. There's obviously MSTEP and our SAT, et cetera, at the end of the year. There's all kinds of things in between. And it's important that we're responsive as we collect that information. And then from that, we select instruction and interventions and support for students. in the right and responding ways. We continue to look at the data, and then we deliver that in a system of tiered supports. That's what this whole thing is. So a balanced assessment system ensures or respects that we have different assessments for different purposes. I don't give MSTEP to decide what to do exactly with that student next fall, believe it or not. I use it, but I use other pieces. Just to give you an example, and remember that's just the tip of the triangle, which you'll see next. I also have to look at what's happening within the classroom and continuing and ongoing assessments. So there's different purposes for those. We look at our students improving. What instructional program improvements are we needing to do? Sometimes we look at the assessments as a total or an assessment in itself to see whether what's being done with a group of students is actually working or if a program's working. It's certainly to hold students and instructors and the system accountable, and then, like I said, to go ahead and evaluate a program and predicting where we're going. So that's where we continue to look at those pieces. Here's some familiar information I think you may recall from before. So some of the things that I mentioned as part of MTSS, and we talk about the MTSS triangle, here's the assessment triangle, but if we're doing the right thing, we're looking at orange, we're looking at green, we're conducting purple, I'll use it in terms of the colors, right? And then we're responding to those things very frequently. And the purple's going to be the most frequent. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold, so I like a respirator. So that's that 90% that's happening formatively in the classroom. It's when the teacher walks to the student, asks what they may know, needs to show something, and then can respond or say, come on over here, I don't think you got that. And is giving some tips and tools. So that's part of being assessment literate. Tonight you'll see a piece of that. We'll come back to you again, and certainly if you have any questions, we want you to be able to ask those. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nadia, and she's going to take us through the data that we have here tonight. Thanks, Nadia.
I'm not the curriculum expert, this is like. Good evening, everyone. So again, the intended purpose of statewide summative proficiency assessment are to evaluate our curricular alignment to Michigan academic standards and to provide evidence that students are making progress towards learning those standards. State summative proficiency assessments also provide information that we as educators can use to evaluate and adjust our educational programs to improve student outcomes in our continuous improvement process. So with that being said, many people that I know that look at data will just look at one assessment and say, oh, look at the percent of proficiency. And many people don't actually focus on the growth. What we've been trying to do is focus more of our time on the growth and making sure that our internal assessments, the curriculum, is aligned to the state standards. We're assessing how students, where they're coming in at. Are they coming in lower than students in nationwide norms? What variables play in? And are they proficient at the end of the year? And on all the previous slides, at the top of each slide, there's links for additional resources from FDE. So we've been working on balancing, even prior to me, everybody's been working on phenomenal team, on balancing our assessment system. So at the beginning of the year, we've been giving a variety of assessments. So the benchmark screeners that you might be familiar with, NWA, we also began piloting iReady this year. So that way we can kind of see how is it aligned with the state standards. And again, we're piloting it. We started with middle school and we're transitioning to elementary as well. And there was a free pilot offered to us. Throughout the year, we're monitoring progress using multiple data points. And when I say multiple data points, I'm not just talking about curriculum. We're looking at attendance. We're monitoring chronically absent students. We're looking at behavior. Again, as Amy mentioned, the whole multi-tiered system approach, not just looking at one data point. Where it's adjusting our instruction, interventions, and again, looking at the whole child for supports at all tiers. At the end of the year, once those proficiency results come out, we'll reassess and look at how we did and where do we need to make adjustments. just as a reminder, for assessment literacy, formative assessments are for ongoing feedback that we do throughout the year. Growth benchmark assessments, NWEA or iReady will tell us, are students growing? Are they showing progress? And then the summative assessments are MSTEP, PSAT, SAT. Showed you this last time I presented them. I don't know if you guys recall. This is a list of all the assessments that we currently administer, the ones that are required by the state of Michigan, the purpose of the assessment, one grade level for ELA, math, science, and social studies. So in September, we completed, again, like I said earlier, our growth benchmark assessment, and that helped us understand where students were compared to nationwide norms, and it helped us understand, are they on track to be proficient? Again, when we're looking at assessments, we're looking at actually 3 different parts. Where students are coming in, are they showing growth, and are they on track to be proficient? And by the end of the year, are they proficient? In January, we will reassess students again with NWA, along with classroom formative assessments, again with looking at their attendance, looking at behavior, looking at everything at for each individual child, not just as an overall picture. And then in May, we'll reevaluate again our fall to spring data, which the reports will tell us, are students meeting growth or are they not meeting growth? So this is our district overall ELA proficiency results, the percentage of students pre-COVID and then after COVID. I know nobody wants to hear that word COVID anymore, but it's a reality that we were at 35% proficiency, and again, now we're at 32% district-wide. So that's where we're at now with this. Again, with the proficiency numbers, there's so much that go into play with these numbers, and I know a lot of times you will hear on the media, ELA scores went up nationwide, or ELA scores went up in Michigan. Or just keep in mind, when they're presenting those scores, the variables aren't being presented to, So when they're comparing districts like Northville or Bloomfield Hills, South Redford or Dearborn, it's not the same variables that are going into play when they're presenting that data. So just be very, I know everyone's conscientious of that, but just as a reminder. These are our district math proficiency scores. Again, we were at 20, dipped to 13, and we maintained it for the past year. And then these are our MSTEP science scores. We had a nice increase with the science scores. As a reminder, science is only given in grades 5, 8, and 11. And then these are our social studies scores. Same thing, we had a nice increase in there. And I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but social studies standards, this is the first year we were actually assessed on the standards that are being taught. Where previous year, we were being assessed on standards from 8th grade in previous years. So they finally aligned those. But they forget those little, that little piece of information when the data is released. So I wanted to give you guys an overall view of 2 years of the district, 2 years of the county, and 2 years of the state by grade level. Again, we're giving you like the overall picture, but we are, as a district, drilling down to the student level to look at each individual student and tracking, are they showing growth, are they not showing growth? So anything highlighted in blue in the 3rd column where it says 2024 district, we've actually maintained or went up in our proficiency. Next to the district, you'll see the county and then the state. So in most of our grade levels from 5 to 11, we have shown an increase in proficiency. Keeping in mind that grades 9 and 10, there is no accountability, but we wanted to share those results with you regardless. So there's no state accountability for grades 9 and 10. And then just to kind of give you a more narrow view, this is the percentages for district, county, and state of how much students went up or down in proficiency. Again, when you hear on the media the ELA numbers went up in the state, a lot of my friends are educators, principals in other districts all over the state, and everyone kind of thinks they went up 5%, 10%, 15%. The reality is, the percentages shift a couple percentages, 1 or 2, 3%, as you can see, but typically not more than that throughout the years. And again, anything in blue is where we've maintained. You can see our PSAT 8 scores, we actually had a 17% increase in ELA proficiency, which was way higher than the county and the state. And again, this is an overall picture. As a data person, my concern is the individual child, as is our whole team, is what does that student data look like? What does their attendance look like? What does their behavior look like? And is it impacting their scores? And same layout for math, 2 years of the district, 2 years of the county, 2 years of state data. Again, you can see in blue anywhere we've maintained or increased. And also as a reminder, these are different cohorts of students. So we're not looking at the same students from year to year. Internally, we are tracking students from year to year, and we're looking at that individual growth. But this is the data that MDE releases to the public. And then again, this is the percentages that went up or down or maintained, district, county, and state. Statewide, math has been, the math numbers have not looked good for everyone in the state. And that's really because of the foundation for math during the COVID years. So currently, some of our work we've been ongoing is we've been working on building common assessments, and we're making sure that they're aligned to the state standards. We completed, as I mentioned last meeting, I don't know if you recall, we worked with middle school and we completed science and social studies common assessments, and we made sure that they were all aligned to the state standards. And now we've been working with the high school teams to recreate those assessments and building them. We're building them online so that students eventually will be taking those online. Teachers will be getting instant reports on where those students are doing, how they're performing, broken down by standards. And we're doing those in all subject areas. So it's a lot of work, but great work. And a lot of great conversations has been coming from this work, where if we see that, states assessing on this standard, but it's not part of our curriculum, we've been realigning it and making those corrections. So we've been doing ongoing professional development with all our staff, ongoing transparency, communications, our continuous improvement cycle. Again, as Amy mentioned, assessment, it's not a one-time thing. It is a continuous process with many different data points. At the bottom, there's our parent resources page that we've linked on our district website with a lot of resources for parents to help them understand the data and what it means as well. So here's what, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this from Mary Ruth. Here's what, so what, now what. So basically, we've identified building grade level proficiencies and deficiencies. We've identified growth deficiencies by grade levels and subgroups, looking at males versus females, our special ed students, our bilingual students. We've identified, we looked at the MSTEP claims and targets, strengths and weaknesses. Unfortunately, MDE does not give us a breakdown by student, which standards are missing, so that's kind of the work that we're doing internally with the common assessments. They just give us an overall, the standards of strength or weakness. And I have requested from the state to give us that breakdown and give us multiple years of data, but still in the works. And basically just kind of continuing to, look at students that don't, not just our goals, but our students that are proficient, and are they continuing to be proficient, and are they showing growth as they take their benchmark assessments. And we're going to continue, like I said, to analyze our attendance, the behavior, how it's impacting academics, continuing assessment literacy for all staff to make sure everybody understands the difference between a growth assessment and a proficiency assessment. We're continuing to analyze student growth norms and our student growth data and subgroup analysis. And that's about it. Any questions? No, there was a lot packed in there. Believe it or not, I tried to sum it up as much as I could, but there's no simple way with data.
Are there any questions? Well, I'd like to know when we'll get copies of that slide.
I sent it out to you by email just a minute ago.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And feel free to email me any questions or anybody has on the data. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the MASB Annual Leadership Conference. A report from me. Okay, let's see. What? Now, do you guys want me to stand up or can I sit at the table?
No, you need to go over to the podium.
How did I know you were going to say that? That's amazing.
I wasn't going up there, are you?
I am. Yeah, that was bad. What?
I said, you can sit down. No, I said, how you doing so down?
No, because you guys might have some questions.
We're an honor board, we must do everything.
What you say? What did you say?
Pulling at you like. Oh, there is a second level there, you know, the 200s and.
Well, by the way, okay. All righty. First of all, the first thing we did was our delegate assembly. And they went through the continuing resolutions. And that was equal rights, discrimination, harassment, and bullying. And MASB, you have this, okay? MASB encouraging boards of education to consider the State Board of Education model policy on bullying when they are reviewing, implementing, and adopting their local policy. Annually review their bullying policy and the number of incidents reported in the district. Communicate a zero tolerance threshold for any such activity. Regularly explore effective methods to address bullying on local, state, and national levels. They also want us to continue our cultural competency. You guys can read this, I'm just gonna go through it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay. Listen, curriculum and standards. The next subject is amending the resolutions. MASB urge that local and intermediate school boards, as well as county area school board and associations, continue to endorse and encourage participation in orientation and continuing education programs and conferences. Now, all the words that are capitalized, they were added. So those are the amendments that were added. Strongly encourage all school boards to adopt policies regarding participation in the MASB voluntary school board member certification programs. And next one is, these are the resolutions that was amended. Increasing board member effectiveness. MASB urges that local and intermediate school boards as well as county area school board associations continue to endorse and encourage participation in continuing education programs and conferences. Number B, strongly encourage all school boards to adopt policies regarding MASB's voluntary school board member certification. That was adopted. Next item, trace of effective school boards. That was adopted. The committee wanted to reinforce the importance of the standard of removing guidance. Inclusive literature. The Michigan Association of School Board urges school media centers and building and classroom libraries to include age and developmental appropriate by way of content or authorship. The committee wanted to clarify literature should be age and developmental appropriate to our students and how to create diverse and appropriate offerings to the school district. Now, I just wanted to tell you guys that in my tenure of 10 years, this has been the most adoptions that the committee has adopted. Next one is literacy skills. Michigan Association of School Board urges local boards of education to provide professional development for teachers and to become proficient and maintain proficiency, including but not limited to dyslexia. Quality and thorough instruction of the science of reading for teachers at the elementary through secondary levels. That was adopted. Equity in education. The Michigan Association of School Boards urges all school board members to foster by their actions the belief that all students can and will learn. The MASB recognizes that based on factors including but not limited to disability, race, ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic status, social orientation, general identity, gender expression, and documentation status. Some students are deprived of equitable educational opportunity. The MSB strongly encourages all involved in the delivery and oversight of public education from the state to the local district to work to identify and eliminate discriminatory practices to ensure all students have access to equitable and quality educational opportunities. Eliminating barriers to learning. And what they added was assuring school creates a supportive and safe school culture. That was also adopted. safe and secure schools. The MASB also encourages school officials to develop robust school emergency operations, respond plans, and crisis intervention plans with parents, families, teachers, school mental health, and professionals. Plans should include a risk and treat and threat assessments. That was adopted. All these were adopted. School bus safety. The MASB encourages school districts and their pupil transportation vendors to consider purchasing alternative fuel, hybrid, or electric school buses when replacing old school buses. That was also adopted. Now on G940, we went round and round with this because we was trying to figure out the right word to say, and this is what they came up with. Helpful, instead, first somebody said help, then somebody said helpless, then somebody else, but the right word was helpful. And emphasis should be placed on protein and healthy fats, which are needed for proper brain and body functions. Carbohydrates and refined sugars should be limited. Very good. On health curriculum and policies, they added the word aiding instead of providing. And age-appropriate techniques to recognize child sexual abuse and confidence in a trusted adult, as outlined by Aaron's Law, and that's at MLC 380.1505-380.1505A. Now that's in our revised code of conduct, so I want everybody to look that up, okay? Because it is. I looked it up, and I said, oh my goodness. And that was adopted. And educational research and program evaluation. They wanted the 2018 removed as the report continues to be updated. And this is a brand new section that was added, new and substituted reflections. It's the Suicide Prevention and Education 2024. The Michigan Association of School Boards strongly encourages school districts to provide age-appropriate information for students on recognizing the signs of self-harm or suicidal ideations and how to talk to their peers or report to a trusted adult. Professional development should be offered for all staff on the warning signs and risk factors for suicide and depression and the protective factors that help prevent suicide. Schools should create an environment where students feel safe sharing information. And the rationale is listed in the Chase Edwards Law, which is MCL 380.1171. Now, we have a young man by the name of Sam Glenn who spoke, and he was fantastic. And I gotta read that. I gotta read just a few of the things that he said. You can make people feel welcome in 75 seconds. And what he did, he had 75 seconds and had everybody get up and run all over the room to meet people. In 75 seconds. And it worked. I couldn't believe it. When people work together courageously, their potential is unlimited. Sam Glenn specializes in creating exceptional experiences that invigorate audiences with engaging, inspiration, life and leadership lessons and performance art. Sam also said it's all about attitude. And you know what? He's an artist. And he drew, as he was talking to us, he was drawing pictures. He drew a picture of a wolf, he drew a picture of a tree, and it was fantastic. I wanted that tree, and I told him, I wanted that tree, and he gave me a picture of that tree.
That's awesome. That's good.
But he's an author and award-winning motivational speaker. He discovers unshakable strength, joy, and resilience in life's changes, challenges, and setbacks. He said, if anything around you seems dark, look again, you may be the light. Be grateful for all, because the problem you don't have. Don't take everything so personally. He also said, I can be changed by what happened to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And this is his favorite saying, and it's by Maya Angelou. And this is his book. And you know what? I was going to raffle this book off. Well, I decided to keep it. I was. But it's called Grow Through What You Can, What You Go Through. It's really a good book. And we also had another speaker by the name of Dr. Adolph Brown. And he was fantastic. And this book talks about labels are for clothing, not for children. You can be the change. Sufficient learning will not take place without a significant relationship, and that's very true. Teach young people that there is a time and place for everything. Change is inevitable, growth is optional. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but stereotypes can kill. You are only changed You are only changed down this life to the extent and convince yourself you are. Success only comes before work in the dictionary. Be a balcony person, not a basement person.
Amen.
That's all right. Each player is important in a child's life. Self-reflection. All of us are carrying something or holding a grudge. Let it go. Your name should be at the top of the list of who you are, and that should be love. The greatest of all is love. Dr. Adolph Brown, a top motivational speaker, the founder and president and CEO of the Leadership and Learning Institute, a former public school educator and administrator, full tenured university professor. Don't judge a book by its cover. Diversity, equity, and inclusion in action. Doc social emotional learning. If we want students to live learning, we must create an environment where it is safe to fail. And he also wrote a book called Championship Habits, but he didn't have that book. So, that, my friends, is your report from MASB.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, let's see. Are there any questions? No? Okay. We're doing pretty good. It's only an hour, guys. Okay, consider FES roof replacement. Does anybody have any questions about that? Because Kelly's not here to answer.
She answered it last time.
Yeah, okay. So do I have a board member willing to adopt the resolution?
To the chair,
Yes,
I'll move the adoption of the following resolution, please.
okay. It's been moved by Mrs. Fletcher and supported by Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 7 ayes, 0 nays. Resolution adopted. Are there any comments from the audience? None? Okay. Plus Delta. Mrs. Davis.
Madam President, what processes help the board's work?
To the chair.
Yes?
I thought the presentation was very well. I liked having the handout ahead of time, made it easier, but I still like the handout here so we can make notes on it, even though Chris sent it to us. So it's kind of a delta with a positive. And also I thought Shirley did a really good job getting us back on track for presenting after a conference. And I think she should be applauded for that.
Any other? I'd like to say that presentation that you and Nadia gave was great. I just like to see I'll pull it up when I get home. Thanks. Okay.
Other opportunities for improvement, what processes will help the board's work in the future?
To the chair.
Yes.
I have a delta whenever we're ready. My delta is during the presentation, I like to focus on the presentation, and it's very distracting to me personally when somebody's cell phone dings 5 times in a 15-minute presentation. We're talking about respect and working and being conscious of what's going on. I don't think our cell phones belong out at the table, let alone turned on, even muting, they do ding. It's just, we should be focused on the presentation. And I counted 5 times the phone dinged.
Anybody else?
Can I say a positive one?
Yes.
Okay, go back to the positive one. Pluses. These. I love these. It is a good reminder, but they're very fancy and I love them. So.
They are nice. They are nice.
They're so nice, right? Did other staff get these?
Not yet. Board first.
These could be like rewards for like good behavior.
I wanted to make sure the board was taken care of.
Well, I like it, and I thank you for coming up, whoever came up with that.
And I'd like to say also, oh no, it's okay. I'd like to say also that we received, did everybody get the email about the 15th of the month from MASB? Anybody that has any information that they need to share as far as classes and that is due by the 15th?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For classes you've taken
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Do you remember Fox?
Yes. Well, if there's nothing else that comes before this board, I adjourn this meeting at 7:32.